15 plus days in the administration still has up Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. The arrogance of these Democrat Party-controlled courthouses is absolutely insane. This is mutiny. This is treason. This is sedition.
Welcome back, everybody, to the morning show. That's Alex Jones, the far-right conspiracy theorist and commentator, if you could describe him as that, saying that I guess a portrait wasn't updated somewhere, and that's mutiny. That's treason. We have to get accountability for these treasonous, seditionist Democrats. As maybe he would say it. He's looking great, though. He is. He's lost a lot of weight. He got a good goatee. You can't take that away from him, even if everything else is absolutely crazy. I want to start this from the beginning and go through some of this video because it's one of the craziest things he's ever broken down and raged about. But first, somehow, before even getting into the show, RM Weiner, I don't know, became a member, and I appreciate that oh so very greatly, even if I botched the name. Thank you all so much for joining us live or watching back and listening on podcast platforms and on YouTube. Let's get into this. Alex Jones, as I mentioned to you, is very upset about a picture.
The federal courthouse in Austin, Texas, 115 plus days in the administration, still has up Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. The arrogance of these Democrat Party-controlled courthouses is absolutely insane. This is mutiny. This is treason. This is sedition. What, will the federal court put an injunction in and say that Trump doesn't have the authority to make them put up his picture? Ladies and gentlemen.
Picture. I don't think you... Never mind. That's mean. Is that mean? I don't think you understand what you're talking about. Is that mean? Is that rude? Sometimes I get angry. I really do. I'll think, why is this person being so dishonest? And do you know what has really helped me deal with that is to go, oh, no. They're just stupid.
Gentlemen, this is pure arrogance on display, and it must be stopped now. As many of you know, military bases across the United States that have Democrat Party DEI operatives in charge of them have refused months and months and months in the Trump administration to take down the pictures of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and put up President Trump and J.D. Vance and others. Well, now, the great investigative journalist Laura Logan just posted...
Laura Logan... Is this phrase? I'm going to use a phrase. I don't know if it's out. Do you know what I mean? Like inappropriate now, but has more than a few screws loose. Like there's so many screws loose in her head that you can hear sort of like people when they have change in their pockets. You can hear in her head when she walks and it bounces, just like just jumbling around. It's really stunning, scientific phenomenon. But she's not an incredible journalist.
On X, you can see on screen that at the federal courthouse in Austin, Texas, where I live, where the federal marshals have an office, they have left up 16 days of the administration, the old administration. This has never happened before. And imagine if they're this arrogant out in the open about their rebellion against the voters of America and their bureaucratic, corporate, federal court coup against our president, against the people, that they would then actually not even put up the images of the president and the vice president. It just shows the insane level of their entitlement and their arrogance. This is pissing in the face of the American people.
It's just pissing. It's just whipping it out and pissing all over our faces. They don't even care. It's just disgusting. Thank you, Alex, for speaking up for us. Lowering the cost of living? Nah. Dealing with the wars abroad? Nah. I want to make sure that we get this portrait up.
I mean, everything we've seen from these judges, only the Supreme Court is co-equal to the executive and legislative. The other courts, Article 3 courts, were created by Congress. We have the Judiciary Act of 1802, 1803, Thomas Jefferson, where they fired all those judges because they were setting up a dictatorship. They are unelected, and they've got to be held to account. And I'm not saying all the judges in that particular.
Thank you so much to High Majestic 84 for the gifted membership. So here's the deal. I think it's terrible that let me say again, that these portraits are still up. Shameful. Because imagine if this led to people denying that Trump was the rightful president, right? Imagine if it led to people coming up with a plot to overthrow his government. Imagine if it led to, just if you would imagine, we've never seen anything like this, but like it hypothetically, if these portraits led to a movement that sought to reverse free and fair election results and put Biden and Harris back into power and remove Trump from power. Now that would be bad, right, Alex? Oh, no. Oh, you did that. Oh, wait, you did that. You did that, didn't you, Alex? Put him on screen, Alex. You did that, didn't you? Wow. I was trying to level with him, but he wasn't listening, tragically. So yeah, okay, put up Trump's poster if it's supposed to be their poster. Put up his portrait. Put up JD's portrait. What the hell happened to JD?
What the hell happened to JD?
We don't know. He's gone. But let's not act like this is treason. Because if this is treason and it's them not acknowledging the rightful presidency of Trump, then what on earth did you do for so many years, MAGA? If you agree it's bad to, even in the form of maybe forgetting to put new portraits up or waiting for them to get delivered, if that's the greatest tragedy and treason, then what do you call literally trying to prevent the lawful elector from going into power? But they don't care. Again, thank you to everyone joining us live. Don't forget to get your tickets at lukebeasleyshow.com/live in Austin, Texas, July 5th. It's going to be off the rails. And so many of you have already gotten your tickets, which is making me hyped. Trump posted, and Midas Touch responded, what an absolute creep, to him posting, has anyone noticed that since I said I hate Taylor Swift, she's no longer, in quotes, hot? Thank you to John Butler. Thank you to John Butler for the super chat saying thank you for all you do, Luke. No, thank you for all you do, John. So Taylor Swift, apparently, according to Trump, is no longer hot because he posted I hate her. Now, we could spend a long time making jokes about how the hot means something else, but he means she's no longer popular, trending, right? Which proves how much of an out of touch old man he is, okay? Taylor Swift, ladies and gentlemen, and this is, you've seen me rant about some political subjects. Oh, you don't want to see me rant about Taylor Swift, okay? I'm going to really get crazy. You see me defend democracy. Watch me defend Taylor Swift. It's much more vivacious. Is that a word? She just wrapped up one of the most successful, if not the most successful, popular, attended, high revenue, globally prominent stadium tours in the history of the world, and is one of the best-selling, most popular, most attended recording artists in the history of the world. I think she's still quote-unquote hot, being like the biggest pop star ever. Dragon Blood became a member by clicking that join button below. Thank you so much to you. I appreciate it oh so very much. Okay, so you saw there at the beginning Alex Jones being very upset about the portraits. He wants the picture. He wants the picture of Trump on the wall. Picture of Trump and JD need to be on the wall. Otherwise, they're planning to overthrow the government or something, which Alex actually tried to do, but ignore it. Another bit of fake outrage is this former FBI director, James Comey, posted a photo of shells that said 8647. That 86 number, it's not something I was familiar with, but then looking back, a lot of people like Matt Gaetz, when he 86'd Kevin McCarthy out of Congress, or other right-wingers using it to say 86 Biden, it's sort of like removed from their position. And also, some people perceive it to mean so. If Comey, and 47 obviously is the presidency of Trump, so if Comey, which he obviously was, just saw some shells and went, oh, that's cool, and it probably has something to do with remove Trump from office, I support that, or something. Fine. I just have to say this, otherwise some MAGA person somewhere is going to poop their pants. Obviously, if he was intending on it to mean that we should kill Trump, that's terrible, and no one should call for such a thing, but that's not what he was calling for, okay? As he clarified later and said, oh gosh, I didn't realize everyone's so mad. I didn't realize. And other MAGA people who are mad about this now, I'll give you the examples, have used 86 the same way that Comey used it.
How the turntables.
Yeah. But here's Tulsi Gabbard saying, put Comey in jail. Put him in jail. Put him in jail, and whatever judge is not putting Trump's portrait.
Do you believe Comey should be in jail?
I do.
I do.
Any other person.
I do. I do. I wonder what it feels like to be them. Do you ever think that? Like, every day I get to come here, and it's so easy. I'm so in love with what I do because my mouth just goes meh, and I just say what's actually in my head and my heart, my mind, body, and my spirit. And it's very nice. Imagine if you're always just playing some character, which is now I'm learning like 80% of the people doing what I do and what Tulsi Gabbard does. It's very disturbing. But what does that feel like? Look at her. She's like an AI. Both of them are very AI. Interesting. But she's definitely AI villain. This patch of hair represents the people that I've murdered. No, not really. Obviously not. She didn't murder anybody. I think it looks pretty. I like it.
Do you believe Comey should be in jail?
I do. Any other person with a position of influence that he has, people who take very seriously what a guy of his stature, his experience, and what the propaganda media has built him up to be, I'm very concerned for the president's life. We've already seen assassination attempts. I'm very concerned for his life. And James Comey, in my view, should be held accountable and put behind bars for this.
That's not how that works. Because he might have accidentally... No, not even. Not even. I'm not even going to give that to them. Okay, some of the people agreeing with her used it. So Jack Posobiec, he was saying this is treason, whatever. And then he had posted 8646 about Biden. So was he calling for Biden to be dead? But I thought they said Biden was already dead. It doesn't make sense. Matt Gaetz posted, we've now 86'd McCarthy, McDaniel, McConnell. Better days are ahead for the Republican Party. Was he saying we murdered them? Did we murder them? Like Tulsi Gabbard didn't murder people? No, they didn't. That's not what they mean. And then, of course, people put... I hate this whole discourse. I hate it so much. What do I mean? We do this thing in politics where one side is worse, but they're worse. Okay, so that's just a thing. But imagine that they weren't. One side does something, and it's dumb, and so the other side goes, "Well, look at your hypocrisy," and then this side goes, "Oh, I don't care," and that happens to us too. Like now, anytime Trump ever looks tired or sleepy, or is not speaking well, the people will scream about it on the left, and then right-wingers post videos of Biden looking rather dilapidated and sleepy, and it kind of, hypocrisy. And we play this game, but nobody cares. Nobody cares. When they're exposed, like this is something Trump posted. He posted a video of a truck that was driving, and it had, I don't know if you can see. Biden's hogtied. It's an image of Biden hogtied. Like he's being kidnapped. What? Listen, folks. I'm in the back of a pickup truck. I'm on the tailgate. I never got to tailgate. This is tailgate. I'm on it. If you ate crackers on me, what do you mean tailgate? I'm hogtied. Does that mean I'm a hog now? So then we just go, oh, you're a hypocrite. And then they go, yay! Well, you're a hypocrite. Woo! And nothing ever changes. So yeah, they used 86. They don't care. They're going to have fun with this till the cows come home. Associated Press reports Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said Thursday, the federal law enforcement's investigating a social media post made by former FBI Director James Comey that she and other Republicans suggest is a call for violence against President Donald Trump. In an Instagram post, Comey wrote, cool shot. So dumb. Sorry. This is just, it's dumb, okay? We're all witnessing dumb. They act like they're mad. They're not mad. We act like we're shocked. They're mad. We're not shocked. They're mad. It's just go round and round. Meanwhile, nothing gets done. In an Instagram post, Comey wrote, cool shell formation on my beach walk under a picture of seashells that appeared to form the shapes for 8647. Maybe those were photoshopped on like MS-13. Numerous Trump administration officials, including Noem and Comey, including Noem, said Comey was advocating for the assassination of Trump. I'm sure that's what he was doing. Merriam-Webster, now we're going to the dictionary to really figure this out, as if common sense didn't figure it out for us. Used by the Associated Press, says 86 is slang meaning to throw out, to get rid of, or to refuse service to, which is how MAGAs use it in the past. It notes among the most recent senses adopted is a logical extension of the previous ones with meaning of to kill. We do not enter this sense due to its relative recency and sparseness of use. But I'm going to be frank, I don't think Comey looked up Merriam-Webster dictionary before he posted this. I think he thought that probably means something about Trump should not be in office. And if he was, and I'm going to say again, if anyone perceives that as to kill, if he was doing it as to kill, which he's not, then you should not do that. You should not do that. That is bad. Do not do that. Is it clear enough? Good. The post has since been deleted. Comey subsequently wrote, I posted earlier a picture of some shells I saw today on a beach walk, which I assumed were a political message. I didn't realize some folks associate those numbers with violence. I really wish he had said, I'm sorry if what I did for any reason made someone upset. I'm sorry that you got so upset. He should have posted. All right, moving on from that. The Supreme Court could block Trump's birthright citizenship order, but limit nationwide injunctions. The Supreme Court seemed intent Thursday on maintaining a block on President Trump's restrictions on birthright citizenship, him just trying to rewrite the Constitution the way that he wants it to be without doing it through the constitutionally mandated form, while looking for a way to scale back nationwide court orders. During the oral arguments of this, you saw some skepticism even from conservative justices going, what are you arguing, Trump? Or at least his representatives. And CNN discussed this.
Man, I mean,
so good.
Yeah, you don't have to be a lawyer to hear the kind of like, are you serious? And in his voice there, in Kavanaugh's voice, because yeah, how are you not going to know?
Yeah, I love when the administration makes Kavanaugh reasonable. I mean, look, this hearing was somewhat of a mess for the administration. I mean, and it's weird, like we live in a time when Antonin Scalia, right, the late great Antonin Scalia he's woke. I mean, he's clearly on video saying the Constitution says persons, doesn't say citizens. And if you listen to Amy Coney Barrett, she could not believe the administration's position when it comes to, not adhering to lower court rulings. They kept saying generally adhere. And she said, what do you keep saying generally? And he said, well, that's been longstanding DOJ policy that we generally will adhere to a lower court ruling. And she said, really? And so it was a fascinating hearing. I don't think it went well for the administration.
Yeah, I mean, neither sort of. Motor Storm is very distracted because a super chat was sent in again by one of our regulars. Motor Fister is the name. And I guess this is like a song or something. The baddest hype brother to ever bless a room, creeping up on you like the Legion of Doom, spitting hard facts that makes the GOP freeze, and all the ladies know you gotta please the bees. Which, as we all know, is definitely makes sense. Oh, Motor, what a guy or gal. Honestly, don't know. Guy, definitely a guy. Let's be honest. All right, now on a different subject. I think this is the part where, this is like Van Jones, who's a CNN contributor. I really like him. Every time you're in a debate, this kind of how I've been acting today, like, I don't know, I give up, is what he exhibits. Just this sort of what you normally don't say, but you think, but he just says it to this MAGA contributor and just goes, do you really believe that? All right, cool. Well, I'm never going to listen to anything you say again. And it's so satisfying. As a reminder, please do click the subscribe button, the like button, and then if you want to become a member and support the show even more, then that join button, and I'll read out your name if you do it while we're live.
This is so shocking that a man did what he said he was going to do.
That might make sense.
Maybe that's
if
a different
increasing tariffs on Americans would lower prices, but they don't do that because he's
not increasing tariffs on Americans. He's increasing tariffs on businesses.
Okay.
Wait. We're gonna get to Van Jones. Sorry, but let's just play that 12 seconds again, and let's just think for a second, okay?
This is so shocking that a man did what he said he was going to do.
That might make sense.
Maybe that's
if
a different
increasing tariffs on Americans would lower prices, but they don't do that because he's
not increasing tariffs on Americans. He's increasing tariffs on businesses.
Okay. He's not increasing tariffs on Americans. He's increasing tariffs on businesses. Now, my question to her is, who is
tax.
This? Who is this? I don't know.
For being honest, he's telling people
we're having
you get fewer dolls.
Let's see here. That was crazy. The computer just forced me to keep playing that. We're not increasing tariffs on Americans. We're increasing tariffs on businesses. Where are those businesses? What does she think she's saying? In America, God bless America. That's where they are, ma'am.
This is so shocking that a man did what he said he was going to do.
That might make sense.
Maybe that's a different
increasing tariffs on Americans would lower prices, but they don't do that because he's
not increasing tariffs on Americans. He's increasing tariffs on businesses.
Okay.
Just to be clear, be clear a little bit about.
One second. What you just said, do you really believe that's how tariffs work? Or is that like a talking point?
I actually believe that tariffs go to the businesses, and the businesses handle it how they handle it. It is not a direct link to the American people.
Right.
So it actually is a direct link.
Now, we don't listen to the rest of this.
The American people in the sense that there is
That was so, I'll play more, but that's just all of us. We want to say that so bad, but we don't. If you missed it, he goes, oh, okay. Oh, you do believe that? All right. So we don't have to listen to anything she says for the rest of the time. Because nothing you say makes any sense. That's what he said. He said it. It's so good. It's so true. Because that's what I've thought in certain conversations. I'm like, okay, cool. No, you believe that. That's great. Now I just, at least the simplified things, I don't have to listen to you ever again. It's perfect. But it feels so insulting to say, and he's just so done. Oh, and I love how just like soft. Oh, do you really believe that, or is that just a talking point? Like as if she would go, oh, it's just a talking point. Do you believe that, or is it just a talking point? Okay, all right, cool. No, that's fine. That's fine. It's just nice that now I know that you don't have basic critical thinking skills, but that's fine. I mean, it's great. Now I just think so little of you that I don't even know why I'm looking at you still. But awesome, but good, totally fine. It's so good. Van Jones.
Empirical evidence tells us that when you experience a tariff as a company, it's like a tax, and that tax is passed down to consumers. We can debate the precise magnitudes. Is it 80% or 100%? But the reality is this means higher prices. And I actually agree with you. I give the president credit for being honest. He is telling people you get fewer dolls. He is telling people you get fewer pencils. The reason is because the price of those things is going to go up.
What were the impacts of the
And then Scott Jennings jumps in. Jump scare. Can we just one more time, please? Please? Can we? Please? One more time, please. Let's watch this part again.
Well, you just said, do you really believe that's how tariffs work? Or is that like a talking point?
I actually believe that tariffs go to the businesses and the businesses handle it how they handle it. It is not a direct link to the American people.
Right.
So it actually is a direct
Now,
link
we don't have to listen for the rest of this.
the American people in the
Nothing you
sense
say makes
that
any sense.
there is
very rude and
the
unnecessary.
empirical evidence tells
She says, that was rude and unnecessary. Yes, it was. It was. It was so good. So she's correct. They do go to the businesses. That's the crazy part. Yeah, you're right. But first of all, you can't say they don't go to Americans. Who do you think runs the businesses? It's just a bunch of undocumented immigrants. That's who runs every business in America. Let's see. Jeff said, why did I get sent this, Jaden? Jaden? It says, Luke, forget the political crap. When are you starting your OnlyFans? Oh my gosh. Jaden literally put not to read. That's hilarious.
That was just for us. I'm sorry.
That's so funny. Not to read. Well, I read it. That's so I didn't see that. I just clicked on the screenshot. It's funny. He thought I should know that privately. Jaden, something to think about. Food for thought, Luke. No, I very much like what I'm doing now. And this is the level of clothing that I am comfortable with, okay? But I'm complimented. Thank you. All right, let's keep going with this. Political commentary, which is what I do. Professionally. Jeff, this is what I do professionally. Thank you very much. I think I do it well. I don't think I need to get naked for your entertainment. I think I'm perfectly fine in this sweater. Not to read. As your job right now is sending me stupid comments. Oh, goodness. That's classic. Okay, let's listen to Scotty J.
The tariffs.
Well, I mean, look, since Liberation Day, we've had Capitulation Month. I mean, first of all, I mean, we've just been cleaning up his own mess. I mean, so do we give the president credit for cleaning up his own mess? But look, if things are going well now, remember, this is Joe Biden's economy. The president told us that 2 weeks ago. This is Joe Biden's economy. So this is the best news Joe Biden has had in a...
Great points by Jared Moskowitz. Look at Scott Jennings. He thinks he's Jim Halpert. Every time someone's making a good point that he can't jump in to refute, he just goes. So that his MAGA viewers be like, yeah, I get what he's saying. Idiot, liberal, gay.
Has had in a very long time if things are getting better.
Fair. That was literally 2 weeks ago that he said that.
Yeah, I mean, MAGA, please. You know I have all the respect in the world for you, except for doesn't tax Americans person. But it attacks American businesses. It's so good. Oh, we didn't get to the end of that. Yeah, Americans, you're right, the businesses pay, but then what are they going to do if things become more expensive? I'm getting more messages. Let's see if oh gosh. Okay. Those are more of y'all being dirty people. So it does, the business then passes it down as the point, which is why Van Jones had that attitude towards her. But then there, Moskowitz, I just really want consistency. It's fine if you're going to try to either argue this is Trump's economy or Biden's, even though it's not that simple. that's just not how the economy works. But I'm kind of okay if you want to. But the way that you keep flip-flopping between the two is really embarrassing, because we saw good inflation numbers because things haven't yet been able to change the year-over-year inflation, because the way that we were headed year-over-year was a really good spot whenever Biden left office. And that's now because of Trump, or good jobs numbers because of Trump. But then things that are clearly the impact of his tariffs or the outcome of his tariffs, that's because of Biden. Motor said, please come to North Carolina. I don't know what some of those letters mean, so I'm just going to stop there. But yes, if the Austin live show goes well, we'll be going all over the place, hopefully. More.
A piece about that data, Scott. When President Trump took office in January, recession risk was about 15%. That's what it is in sort of a normal year. There's never a 0% probability of a recession. Today, recession risk is closer to 50%.
Well, we did inherit a mess. I agree with you.
So it's actually not an inherited mess, though, because when...
But to your point, Scott, the economy is actually showing a lot. The first quarter of this year was the economy that Trump inherited in large part, resilient, relatively strong. And everyone expected that would continue until the tariffs.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because Trump says anything good about, he literally said this, anything good about the economy is because of me, anything bad is because of Biden. And we're in this crazy timeline where it sounds super partisan to say the opposite, but the opposite is actually more true. Like, the things that were good about the economy Trump inherited, the things that have gotten worse were because of his policy actions. I feel like because it's a super chat, I have to read it. Do I? Pendulous Dragon, thank you for the super chat. Let's just say that he's or she's thinking of ways we could incorporate the previous idea with doing political commentary at the same time. Fine, I'll just read it. Barely nude news with Luke Beasley. That's the idea, okay? This is what I get. This is what I get.
I'm gonna come.
Oh, please. I work. Stop. You're not clean, beautiful Cole today, Cole. You're not. You're on my nerves.
Clean, beautiful Cole.
No, that's not what you are. You're dirty, ugly Cole. Well-researched segments. I try to give you good insight. And I'm being sexualized. Unbelievable. I definitely am not flattered by it. I am not. I don't like this. I hate this. Look what you've done to me. You've made me smile. All right. Kathy Griffin dropped a video titled Stephen Colbert Made Me Cry. And if you remember the controversy with Kathy Griffin, if you'll take that down, Jaden, I just want to make sure I get these details right. So she held up like a fake head of Trump's that was like a Halloween thing with fake blood on it and made it look like she severed Trump's head off, which is obviously wrong. Don't do that. Bad. We don't like violent imagery. Very consistent on the show about that. And then her, you want to talk about cancellation? She got canceled hard. Okay, she got canceled. And it's interesting because what was done to her was worse than what was done to many of the right-wing leaders that right-wingers said were unfairly canceled. And she made a bad joke. That was a bad joke. And then all of her jobs got taken away. So if the right wing is concerned about cancel culture, I'm curious if they care about this as well. So in that sense, I have some defense of her, not of what she did, but of the fact that she really was wiped off the map in many ways for at least a period of time because of that bad joke. And, but I'm not defensive of her when it comes to her allegation here against Stephen Colbert. I feel bad that she felt bad when she went on Stephen Colbert's show, but she makes some allegations that I just don't think are based in fact. So we'll look at the video here in a second, but the context, I can't play the clip on Colbert. I can play her podcast, but I can't play Colbert. They're insane shows like that. Like they go and just a person in all, black outfit jumps through your window and stabs you if you play their content. It's crazy. Stephen Colbert himself comes in and if you play his content. So I will instead read reporting about it. In their 2018, so she's just now today talking about how she felt and how she cried after this interview with Colbert where he challenged her about the photo. In their 2018 Late Show interview, Colbert challenged Griffin, who defended the photo by noting it was protected by the First Amendment. To which Colbert responded, there are limits, though. What you can say about the President of the United States, specifically having to do with harm against the President of the United States, and which is true. There are limits. That's what we've, learned. Griffin described the mask resembling Trump's face as a Halloween mask with ketchup and said that she had been without work since the blowback. Griffin revealed in her video that she was informed shortly before the interview that Colbert was going to bring up the Trump photo, despite her one request being that the subject got skipped altogether. And then she goes on to say why she was upset. But essentially, I went back and watched this interview. And if it's the case that Colbert's producers said to Griffin, which is what she claims, we won't bring up the photo, the fake severed head photo. Then he brought it up. That's messed up, and I am defensive of her. That's messed up. And it happens constantly. But that is messed up. I have to be consistent, though. When it's something I want to hear asked about, I go, like, remember Lindy Lee was saying, my producer said you weren't going to ask about this. But then the fact that she got cornered because it was asked about made me happy. It made me happy. Even though technically you shouldn't do that. And lying to Kathy Griffin saying, oh, that won't be brought up. And then right before she goes on, oh, just kidding, it will, is bad. That's bad. That's immoral. That's trying to sabotage someone. And I don't like that. And we have to acknowledge it almost 100% certainly wasn't Stephen Colbert who did that. Like his people who deal with the not the casting, but getting guests on, obviously misled Kathy Griffin. That person did something bad. And then Stephen Colbert probably didn't know that whole saga happened. But then she goes on to say things about how he handled the interview itself, not just about how she was misled, which was wrong. And using the term misogynistic and stuff. And when I watch back, you can find it yourself. But Stephen Colbert handled it like even any other interview. And he was being kind of humorous and he wasn't being super rude to her. And he was obviously bringing her on and being very sympathetic to what had happened to her. But then was just going, you can't post that. Do you regret it? And here's what she said a few years later.
No, I was crying, blah, blah, blah. I'm like so used to guys making statements like that about me. It's ridiculous. I mean, I'll never be on the show again anyway. So I'm telling you the real story. I felt like the audience was actually quite loving toward me, and that could have turned. So I didn't do the best job on that show. I'm not saying I did at all, but if I did one thing, it was kind of play to the audience to the point where I didn't want them to be aware of what was really happening, because what was really happening was a bullshit ambush. But I thought that was such a low blow. And there's a thing in comedy called punching up or punching down. I'm very much on the D list. Everybody knows that. I named my show My Life on the D list. I never acted like I'm A-list. I never will. And Stephen Colbert is an A-list comic. He has accomplished just about everything you can as a comedian. And he's wildly talented. And he's obviously very bright. But man, what a dick. What a dick. And to go for...
I don't understand when they bleep like that. What a dick. Beep. I think I heard the whole word there.
For me, of all people, just to me, it had such a... It was so laced with misogyny, but that undercurrent of misogyny where he would probably be shocked to hear that anyone would accuse him of having an ounce of misogyny. But I just...
Now, this part was the part that was reported on. Maybe in the full 20-minute thing, she revealed other stuff. This seems like the big part. I always want to caveat. I maybe missed something. And she revealed that behind the scenes, he did something. But it sounds like she's recounting, which is what she's doing in this part, the interview itself that was on national TV. And then using that term. And my fellow liberals... Let's not overuse those terms because they get cheapened. And he was handling the interview as he handles interviews. It's not sexy to say this, but it's just not fair to make that critique. And it's her personal experience and she can say however she interpreted it. But I just do think that we should be fair about the fact that it's online and you can watch him, and I think he handled it fine.
Him of having an ounce of misogyny. But I just remember thinking he would not talk down to the guys like this. He just wouldn't.
He wasn't
I
talking
don't think I've ever seen him treat any of the guy comics like this. My segment ends. I don't think the audience knew what happened. I think the audience was very loving toward me. I sat there and tried to take it on the chin and tried to look like a champ. And I do remember smiling the whole segment. I probably was too defensive at some point. I'm not saying it was a good segment. I was so thrown. I remember the segment ended. I got up. I don't remember if Steven shook my hand. He probably did. Maybe he kissed me on the cheek. I'm not sure. And I walked off, and I remember I was about one step away from the desk, and then the tears came. But I was still smiling and waving, and I could feel them coming down my cheeks. And I thought, okay, I don't think this is reading. I don't think you can tell on camera. Just keep smiling and waving. And I don't think they can see the actual tears.
Okay, so that's really sad, and I feel bad for her that that happened. As someone who has experience, not to the level of Stephen Colbert, but on TV, just stressful things where you walk away and you're like, I think I handled that poorly. And then I look at Jaden, I'm like, Jaden, what happened? Jaden's like, you did great. And I'm like, you're lying to me. And then I'm mad at him. It's your fault. Why are you lying to me, Jaden? You stupid. And he's like, okay, yeah, it didn't go well. What? It didn't go well? He's like, no, it went well. You're lying to me. We have a good relationship. No. And so I get that stress, and I really sympathize with it. But I think she has, for whatever reason, even though when I watched the segment, she handled it fine. It looked like she was popping, and it was going good, and she was kind of on her feet, and it felt good. But she, for whatever reason, internalized it as a pretty traumatic experience, and that she handled it poorly. And I think she wants to blame Stephen Colbert for that, which you can blame him in the sense that he oversees the show, and if one of his producers or him lied to you about what was going to be talked about, then that is totally acceptable. But on the discussion itself, he handled it fine, and I don't think she needs to remember that as something she messed up. I think that interview went kind of fine. But anywho, we have lots of messages to read, so let me just get right into it. Soggy Grog Bottom. I'm always scared that one of y'all are going to set me up, I'm not sure if anyone has said it yet, but 86ing something is a restaurant term that means we're out of this menu item, so don't offer it to customers. Yeah, it's used a lot of different ways. Thank you for the super chat. And then Hans said, keep on trucking, Luke. Thank you. I think that was in relation to, Jeremy Bolden sent 10 gifted memberships. My goodness, Jeremy. Thank you so much. Motor clarified that BJC crew means Bees, Jaden, and Cole. Love it. Love it, love it. Okay, not something inappropriate. Mariposa has been a member for a month and said, why does it look like Kathy has no nose? I don't know. I don't know what you mean. That's funny. Keys, thank you so much for the super chat. Said, I watch the show every day. Love you and the team so much. Really love the soundboard. Wish we grew up together so we could have been IRL friends. Thank you so much. Oh, that's really sweet.
I love you back.
I love you back. Indeed. And then I saw David Crisp. I'm not going to read the message, but David Crisp, would you mind contacting at lukebushow.com the contact form and just re-put that story in? I'd love to chat with you. So please, just lukebushow.com/contact. At least just go to lukebushow.com, but then you'll find the contact form and submit that there, and we'll get in contact. Alrighty, let's keep charging forward, everyone. I appreciate you being here. What a Friday. We're launching into the weekend. Thank goodness. Too long of a week. The Oklahoma guy who is mandating, he's like the education position in Oklahoma, superintendent of education. He was the one who came out and said, yeah, we're going to teach that the 2020 election had real discrepancy. Essentially teaching the big lie in schools. It's crazy. Well, then a Fox host defends him during an interview this way.
Listen, Ryan, I think I speak for millions of Americans when I say there's absolutely nothing wrong with discussing the fact that there were peculiarities following the 2020 election. By the way, what happened to all those voters that voted in 2020 that somehow didn't vote in 2024?
That's a great question, Kevin. And
That's a great question, Kevin. I'm so mad right now. I'm trying to figure. Literally, what you just watched was me trying to figure out if I can not be mad and be silly. Let's see. Nope. Hey, Bub, do you know why? I could tell you why if you want. Are you interested in listening, or do you just want to perpetuate that no matter what? Which one is it? Kevin? Kev? Do you want to know why? Because sometimes, and I guess it was this guy, sometimes more people vote, and sometimes less people vote. Kevin. And whenever there's a global pandemic that the incumbent president is mishandling, and everyone's stuck at their house to focus on politics, a lot more people get interested in politics and can vote. And as y'all take issue with, yes, we took steps to make sure people could vote even while the pandemic was raging. And so whenever there's that sort of heat around an election, and then that base of voters that voted against Trump now is demoralized because of a lot of reasons. Based on what you just said, I don't know if you can understand them. Oh, ooh, that's brutal. I'm going to channel Van Jones for a second. I don't think that I'm ever going to be able to explain basic concepts to you, which is fine. It's totally fine that like you don't have a brain cell, but it's totally acceptable. You don't even have two to rub together. It's weird. Have a good day, though. But the pandemic caused a lot of Democratic voters to be demoralized after they realized by switching out Trump for Biden, while we did see a way better recovery than we would have otherwise, the pain that came with the pandemic didn't just go away economically. So then people were angry. People who didn't want to vote for Trump, but also had been disengaged because of losing faith in Biden. They just didn't vote. How is that a conspiracy? Yeah, sometimes there's record turnout and sometimes there's less turnout. And they're so proud of themselves. So upsetting. Excuse me. Okay. Let's move forward. Chip Roy says that he thinks Congress should go into recess so that he can play on the monkey bars. No, not that type of recess. Because he doesn't think... because... That one was not what I was expecting to tickle me, but that tickled me. I'm tickled. I'm thoroughly tickled. You're observing me tickled. What are other parts of a playscape? Jaden.
Swing set?
Swing set.
That was my favorite.
You gotta love the swing set. Kids are so dumb. Like, where are you going? You're just swinging back and forth. You're not doing anything. Like, what? Why are kids so dumb? Oh, I want to go swing back and forth and then be done. I didn't get a workout in barely. I didn't go anywhere. I just swung back and forth and then said, Mom, look at how high I got. Everyone gets that high, Bobby. You're not special. The only people who were special are ones, I don't even know if you could do this, who like flipped around. That's impressive.
There's only myths. I never believed anyone who said that.
Yeah. Swing set. Can we get some more intelligent kids, please? I tried to have a conversation the other day with like a, relative type kid. And it's like, wait, you don't talk fully. Why? What am I supposed to do? Did you know what I mean? You're like, hi, you look like a person, but you're not, because you can't speak that well. Hey, you have all of the characteristics of a person, but you're like not yet fully baked as like a cake. It's like, go develop and then come back and we could talk, I guess. But like, what are we supposed to, we're supposed to just talk about for the 10th time that same story of the bubble gum getting stuck on your shoe for the 10th time? I'm bored. I have things to do. I have people to speak to. Like, I've heard some comedian make this joke, but other animals, like they, right? That's like a female animal pushing out a baby, if you didn't realize. And then a baby animal comes out, like a deer, and then within 2 seconds, it's like walking around. And it just runs off to get stuff. And it like immediately starts gathering or hunting or whatever. Like instantly. You know what I mean? Not puppies. Puppies do take a long time to fully bake as well, but which is why they bother me sometimes. Like when I had to raise these small puppies, it was so, and they smelled weird and it was weird. And it's like, hey, you have to sleep in the room with the dogs and the mother and the puppies because the mother will roll onto the puppies on accident and kill them. Hey, evolution. What happened? Hey, evolution, you messed up. Hey, evolution, keep working, please, because the mom rolls over and kills its babies, smothers it as it... Yeah, that's depressing, I know. We couldn't have thought about a better programming for that? Almighty God? Almighty God? We can create AI, but mother dogs can't roll over on their puppies and kill them? And the little puppies can't see? They come out blind. It's crazy. But then some other animals pop out fully formed, practically. And then humans, it takes them like 16 years to even be mildly coherent. And even then, I'm hearing all this lingo I don't understand. It's like, speak normally. All right, back to Chip Roy. I don't know how we got on this. Chip Roy, recess, monkey bars, swing set, kids don't speak, animals better, some animals worse. Back to Chip Roy. All right, got it. Chip says we should go on recess because this reconciliation bill, it's not working.
I think they should recess.
Because you don't think that you're close to a deal?
I said what I said. I think they should recess.
There aren't the votes right now?
Yeah, it looks like right now it is a little bit tough to see this getting passed, which is good. What's scary is one of the reasons it looks like it's not getting passed is because it's not cutting enough for some of the Republicans, which would be bad if the eventual reconciliation led to more cuts. Keys, thank you for the super chat saying, please give us 3 of the best soundboard clips in a row, Cole, because it gives me life. Gives me life. Big.
I have concepts of a plan.
No, stop. That's not the top 3. What are you doing? No.
China.
Definitely China.
I'm gonna come.
Yeah, definitely that one.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I guess we use that one a lot too. All right, there we go. Vincent said, do you believe that patriotism is important? Extremely important. Extremely important. Now, some people define patriotism as just liking loud parades and flags. I like loud parades and flags too, but that's not patriotism in its entirety. It's not just symbolic patriotism, but to me, it just represents a love for your country and a pride for your country. And what do you do if you love and are prideful about something? You work your ever-loving tail to make it better, and especially when it's very flawed, you have even more motivation to love it and to be proud of it, but to work your tail off to make it better. And I think the patriotism is so important because we need to be motivated to make things better. and to love our fellow country people. And then also the sort of the world, or a big source of pride for me is the major things we've done wrong are obviously there and should be weighed. But also the world order that was established with us at the forefront of it, I think has had a lot of net positives. And so understanding that and then being proud of it, I think can be a source of energy, because it's sometimes difficult to find that motivation. Why give so much of my life and energy and anxiety and stress to this cause? But if you have an undying love for America, that can serve as quite a motivator. Thank you so much to There's an Opinion for that, for becoming a member by clicking the join button below. I appreciate it so much. And then Mama something said, hey Cole, get the sound from the end of TikTok that Luke hates so much. Mama, mama, mama. You're a cold-blooded son of a... Boom, boom. That TikTok sounds haunting. Kim Wilson became a member by clicking the join button below. I appreciate it so much. And that, on that positive note, is where we'll leave it for the day. I appreciate all of you. Have a wonderful weekend. That's what you got to do. Despite all of the stressors that there are, put a smile on that face and have a great weekend. I'll talk to you next time.